This is Larry the Barber Man, and today I'm at the CT Barber Expo 2018. I'm here with Patti Cuts. I've dragged him down to my press room from the workshops which were taking place upstairs. I'm going to open him out a little bit. Paddy will share with us how, by his own admission, he grew from 2,000 followers on Instagram to today over 116,000 followers. He's also going to tell us about his journey into ambassadorship with Babyliss Pro, and also he has a educational series he's going to share with us, and he has his own razor. So Patti, thank you very much for giving me the time and coming down to, I don't know, in some respects, share your story with us.
Yeah, no, it's an honor. I mean, I've seen this done before with you, and it's great. It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm glad we feel the same way.
Yeah.
Some kind of mutual benefit from this interview.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just start with, you know, by your own admission, 3 years ago, you was nobody, you had 2,000 followers. You've been cutting hair from the age of 12 years old.
Yes.
You was delivering pizzas, you was messing around with drugs and drink, and then there was a turning point. Maybe you can tell me in your own words from the age of 12 where you started, and kind of walk me up to where you are now.
Okay, great. Well, 12 years old is kind of like where I'm from in Philly. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Where I'm from, everyone likes to look sharp, you know, like the nice sharp cuts. So I wanted that look, and we couldn't. My mom would never give me money to get a cut all the time. So that's when I started trying it on myself, and that's how I started. You know, I started cutting my own hair, and I just fell in love with it. You know, I wanted to do it almost every day. You know, and then once my friends started, you know, seeing me do my own hair, they wanted haircuts. So by the age of, I would say 16, 17, I was cutting up the whole neighborhood. And it was pretty cool. The whole neighborhood, different neighborhoods were coming in Philly. They were coming to get haircuts by me. And it was really cool. It was really cool. It was something I had a passion for. The only thing was I never thought it could be a lifelong career. And after high school, I ended up going to college. And college, I thought I had to go to college and you know, kind of take that road and do, you know, my parents wanted me to go to college, and I did. Was not a good student. Had no passion for college, but I got through 4 years. At my fourth year, that's when my dad died, when he committed suicide, and that's like when my life got completely shaken up, you know, and when that happened, I kind of went down the road of drugs and alcohol for the next pretty much year, and I was miserable. And that's when I was 22. So that's when I moved down. I packed up all my stuff. I needed a change, and I moved from Philadelphia to Florida. And Florida, I went down there with the goal in mind to be a lifeguard on the beach. That's what I always did every summer in New Jersey, and it was something I loved. So I went down there. That was my plan, to relocate. I knew a couple people, and to be a lifeguard on the beach, and I ended up not making the lifeguards. And I was down in Florida with nothing, and that's when I got a job delivering pizza. And this was about 4.5 years ago, and I was completely miserable. You know, I just was you know, I hated myself, I hated life, and I was, you know, riding around delivering pizza. You know, and then I always like to tell a story about like when I made a sharp turn delivering one day and buffalo sauce spilled all over my back seat, and that was it. You know, like I kind of just pulled over to the side of the road, man, and it was just, that was like a turning point. Like I was just so miserable. And I made the decision right there on the side of the road that the next day I was going to go in and enroll in barber school. There was a barber school right where I lived in Florida, actually.
So the very next day, you literally drove to the thing, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, signed you.
Right away, and I said, when can I start? They said, it was on like a Thursday. They said Monday. I said, all right. And then right there, I was in barber school.
And quickly, tell me just quickly the process of actually going into barber school in America to get licensed. Because in the UK, if you want to become a barber and you can cut hair already, you can literally just turn up at a barber shop, prove that you can actually cut hair, and you're away. We don't need no license. So.
Well, and where I'm at in Florida, you need 1,200 hours of school. They do a lot of different stuff in the school that they say it's a barber school, but they do a lot of like hair rollers and a lot of stuff that I wasn't interested in. But the second half of barber school is you got to cut people's hair. So I toughed out the first 600 hours, and then the next 600 I got to cut hair on the floor and do some clinical stuff. So so you have to get 1,200 hours of school, which if you go every day is about 11 months to a year. 6 hours a day, and then you have to take a written exam, and then you're licensed. So it's a process
But you was cutting unlicensed to supplement have some form of income.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. And then you went on to, what was your first barbershop you worked at?
It's called New Era Barbershop. It was funny. I was in barber school. And I was doing there was a little competition between the students, and I won. And one of the judges, his name's Angel, he's a great guy. He came up to me, he's like, "Hey, you working in the shop?" And I was like, not yet. And this is what I was waiting for, a job, And I was like, "No, like, can I get a job?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come in tomorrow, you'll fit right in." And it was funny. I went to the shop the next day, and I did not fit in. I was like the only white guy around for miles, and I was almost intimidated enough to leave, and I stayed. I went in, and it was probably the best decision I ever made. I absolutely loved it. It was a challenge to get people to sit in my chair, because no one thought I could cut their hair in that area, and that's when I started taking classes like this and learning how to do it. And now, safe to say, I have a lot of clients from that area that follow me to my new area. So
both Caucasian and Afro-Caribbean.
Yeah, a lot, yes.
Yeah. Because up until 6 years ago, between 4 and 6 years ago, it was kind of like a standing joke in England. If you wanted a fade, it would be best to go and see a seasoned Afro-Caribbean barber, and if you wanted a fade and a good scissor cut, go and see one of these Afro-Caribbean guys, get your fade on top. They can't do your scissor work, then go and see a cos or a hairdresser. So that's it's quite interesting that you threw yourself into the deep end, and then that helped you at this later stage in your career.
Yeah. And well, I didn't even mean to, he told me, he's like, "Oh, you'll be great," and I was like, "All right," and I went there, and it was right in the middle of the hood, but everyone took me in. Embraced the people that worked there, helped me, so it was the best move that could have happened to me, because now I can cut all types of textures, and I enjoy doing it. So.
And that hood must have contributed to last year you winning Best Fader 2017 at BarberCon.
Yes, in New York. Yeah. Okay. And that's probably been my best award achievement as a barber, getting that. It's a big show, BarberCon in New York, so it was quite an honor to get that award. And you
got that the same time Sophie won an award as well?
Yep, we won together, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Because she mentioned in a previous interview that, you both stood there and Lee said, "I want Patti and I want yourself to come to the stage," and you was wondering what was there.
We didn't know what was going on, hey, come up to the stage and stand there, and we'll just do that. And we're like, all right, And then we went, and she won Female Barber of the Year. I won Best Fades of the Year. So it was we're both on Babyliss, so we're really close with each other. So it was really cool.
Okay. So your name, like I said earlier on in the interview, you had 2,000 followers, and now you're at 116.
Yes.
Upstairs in the workshop, you was talking about strategies. Maybe you could share some of your thoughts and strategies on how you can increase your following on Instagram and indeed your profile.
Yeah, that's a great. Well, first, I like when they I get asked that question, I like to say what I did wrong first, and I just kind of like, when I got on Instagram, I expected like, oh, I do, you know, nice cuts. Like, why aren't I getting known? You know, like, I was getting like frustrated, you know, that I wasn't gaining followers. Like, companies weren't recognizing me. Barber repost page didn't know who I was, and that's because I was doing it wrong. You know, I was taking pictures with my old cell phone. I wasn't putting any effort into what I was putting out there, if that makes sense. I just wanted to be known without putting in the work. And then finally I bought a camera, a low-end DSLR, and that's when it all changed. I got a nice portrait lens. My sister's actually a photographer, so I called her up, like, hey, what should I get, you know? I got a little Nikon with a 50mm lens, and it changed for me. My cuts were, you know, the same, but the way I presented it was completely different. So one would be presentation of your haircuts. As I keep, you know, going up, I get better with photography because I study that as well. Like, I study photography. Kevin Luchman, he's one of my inspirations in men's photography. So, you know, I've asked him questions before, like, he actually told me to get an 85mm lens, so I went out and got it, you know?
With one aperture.
Yeah, the 1.2, and, you know, just investing in myself, presenting it wise. What times to post is really important to me. Like, I don't just post on a Sunday at, you know, 3 o'clock when people are out with their family. Like, I want people to see my work, so I wait till, okay, what's the best night or time that people are going to be sitting in their house scrolling through that are actually going to see my work? When are these repost page guys, when are they going to get on and start looking at people's haircuts? That's when I'm going to post. And so when I would see Barbershop Connect start reposting, that's when I would post up my picture. Or I would always post, you know, at 8 and 10:30 at night, you know, like 8 o'clock for, you know, the East Coast people and maybe overseas, because it's still, and then 10:30 for like LA and the West Coast people. So time strategy was important. Like, it all is kind of a thought process in what I post, and, you know, what I write under my captions, what little hashtags that I write that people are searching. So it's a lot of like strategy and kind of like a marketing mind behind posting these pictures.
Anticipation.
Yeah.
That's the key word.
Yeah, because I'll do a real nice cut on Thursday, but I know I'm not going to post Friday, Saturday, or Sunday because it's just not good days. People are all busy. So I'll do a real nice cut Thursday, and the anticipation of having to wait till Monday to post it is like, but that's how I went about things.
Okay. And you spoke about a part that you created that got some kind of traction, and the repost guys for the likes of Barbershop Connect, where you can see the logo next to you, recognized the trending of this part. Yep. Tell me a bit about this part and what you called it.
So I remember Lee from Barbershop Connect, he put out this little flyer. It said, you know, it was like a little competition, like who can create the best new like look / part / design. And I already had something in mind, like something cool that I was waiting to do, and he just so happened to release that at the right moment. And I was like, this is it. This is the time I'm gonna do it. And it's like a design. It's like 2 little slashes, but instead of like cutting in the slashes, you leave them dark and you cut around them. So it's almost like a negative. So instead of carving it out, you leave them there and carve around them and fade around them. And I call it the X-ray part because it's kind of like a negative of a picture. You know what I mean? Like. And it just kind of caught on, and people started doing it, tagging me, reposting it, and I ended up having like an X-ray part competition. Actually,
as the creator.
I won, and then I won Lee's competition, and that's when, you know, followers started going up. It was that was like a nice break. That was like one of the main breaks for me, social media wise.
So another tip for someone out there wondering how you get the numbers up is to differentiate yourself. I mean, Andrew Does Hair spoke about this as well, that he said, you know, one of the key things that were instrumental in him getting over 100,000 followers is that nobody was using hairdryers. It was kind of like an alien thing amongst barbers.
Yep.
And by just using the, showing his skill set for the hairdresser, differentiated him.
That's it.
For the hairdryer, sorry.
Yep.
Hairdresser.
That's why I started. Andrew's he's a big inspiration to me because of that. I didn't know how to use a hairdryer, and I saw this guy, Andrew Does Hair, you know, with the hairdryer, killing it, and I was like, I started following him because of that, because no one else was doing it, you know, and who else was I going to follow that was doing it? So he's been a friend since. You know, we talk a lot a bit about photography as well. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's very into photography.
Yeah.
Okay, another influencer you've mentioned quite a lot off camera was Kenny Duncan. What would you say Kenny Duncan has done for your career, and how has he been an inspiration to you?
In a big way, you know. One, the way he respects people. Like, I remember the first class I took, I just felt like I didn't feel like I was like a newbie. I felt respected. You know, he talks to you like you know, he's one. Even though he's the best educator in the world, he talks to you like it's just a conversation. You know, and I really respected that. And then the way he goes about teaching is I understood it really well. So. Right there, and he's from Philly, so he's from my neck of the woods, my hometown. So, and he does great haircuts. So all these things into one, like, really just, he's probably been my biggest inspiration coming up, because he's like achieving a lot of things that I set out myself to achieve, and it's just cool to have like a role model like that.
Okay.
So.
Well, you've now become a role model. I mean, even like the likes of Eco Barbers, who's really accomplished with his scissor work.
Oh, amazing.
Well, all aspects.
Yep.
He, you know, doesn't stop talking about your fading, so
wow.
You inspire people even at that really high level.
Yeah.
You've now become an influencer. What events can people reach out to you and maybe work with you or learn from you in the future? Is there anything that you can share with us today? I'm
really excited that March 25th, I'll be first time out of the country is going to be back to Ireland, not back to, because I was never there. May, that's what I meant, May 25th, and I'm Irish. That's where my family's from, my whole family, and I've never been out of the country, so I'm really pumped. That's the first place I get to go. I got all the Irish tattoos, so I love being Irish, and I'm excited to go there, and I follow a lot of Irish guys. So I'm excited for that. After that, I got BarberCon in it's June 10th and 11th, I believe. So I'll be doing main stage for Babyliss, Babyliss Pro. And then hopefully in October, I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. We play over in London. So our NFL team plays in London. So I'm hoping to set some stuff up and go watch my team, but also do some stuff over there.
Eco Barbers would be a good one to work with.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. The Beaks, I've talked to them about it. There's so much inspiration from over in the UK that I just want to meet so many people, So this is like the time. This is the perfect time for me to go over to the UK because one, I'm a diehard NFL fan. Two, I want to meet and learn from all these guys over there. So.
Okay. And you've got something in the pipeline. I'm not sure if you want to discuss it with.
Yeah, we'll get a little teaser.
Stay Gold.
What we got going on, Stay Gold, aka Sophie. Me and her have discussed doing a 3-part class. So the first part will be cutting, and we will both go about doing our different cuts because she is unbelievable with the fades. I still learn from her. Everything she does, I learn from. But we share a passion for photography and videography together. Like we'll bounce ideas off each other. When we're doing videos, we'll FaceTime each other. Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? So we'll kind of connect, and that gave us the idea to do a class. First part would be cutting. The second part would be photography and how to portray images of your cut. you know, like in a really cool artistic way, not just with a cell phone or just a camera, like different ways to go about photography that are deeper than just taking the picture. And then the third thing would be videography, to do your own videos, chop them up, make them look really cool, and really promote yourself the right way. So we want to do a 3-part class because she's amazing at videography. I know about it too. I love photography, and then we both love to cut. So.
And there's no conflict because you're both ambassadors for Babyliss.
We're both Babyliss, so yeah, there's no conflict. We just got to figure out where we don't have a city yet. We know we're going to maybe do East Coast and West Coast, something like that, or maybe even go overseas, who knows. So something's coming, yeah.
You're always welcome in the UK.
Oh, great, I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited to come over there.
So, Patti, you won Best Fader of the Year for BarberCon 2017. If you was to share one ninja trick that was a game changer for the barbers out there, what would it be and how would they execute it?
Fading wise, it would be using the corner of your clipper to fade and not just the whole blade and, you know, push lines up, rather than use the corner of your clipper and just kind of use it like a thinning shear and just kind of thin out the fade rather than use the whole blade and kind of push it up. And also different angles that you use of the blade will leave different lengths. So if you can understand what angle will leave what length, there's unlimited possibilities of what shades you can get on a head.
And that could take an average fade to a better fade
exactly.
to an extraordinary
exactly.
fade.
Yep.
And ultimately be a champion.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Thank you.
Cool.
And in closing, Patti, what would be your words of advice to maybe an accomplished barber out there that has not got the exposure that he deserves, or a young barber up and coming and wanting to get A, the exposure that you do, and B, reach your skill set levels? What would be your advice to them in closing?
Well, no matter what, the first advice, because I still stick with it, is the never stop learning parts. Like I'll still take classes. And I'll still learn how to do something better. You know, like right now I'm working on shear work because I know I need to get better at that. So whether it's someone accomplished or someone just coming up, take the classes that you see that someone inspires you is giving. You know, like if the Beaks or Ego Barbers or Josh, if they were doing a class anywhere near, I would go. You know, I just want to learn. So that's one, and then two, if you're not getting kind of recognized, you need to probably do something different. You know, change up your pictures, your strategy. Get out to these kind of events like this, meet people, because that was another big thing of how I kind of got to where I'm at now, is I would come to events and just meet everyone. You know. Meet Lee from Barbershop Connect, meet all the people from Babyliss, you know, just like, they're just two examples, but just build relationships with awesome people.
Okay.
So,
Patti Cutts, thank you ever so much for sharing your story.
Of course.
Words of advice and more advice to the people of this channel, and I wish you every success in your future. It's
cool.
Looking bright, so
yeah.
you know, keep doing what you're doing.
Cool, Larry, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.